Yo, 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 salute to everybody, man. Sorry about the lateness. Sorry about the lateness. Um, and to be honest with you, you guys got every right to be mad about me about the lateness because this one right here, me and Derek Gaines, we've been cooking. That's first and foremost. Before we even get it started, let me give Derek Gaines his flowers. Derek Gaines been holding it down ever since I decided to bring him on the panel. He been holding it set. So you ain't hearing no complaints from me. And then this episode, I really, really dug deep in this episode. Like I didn't just look up all of the powers and abilities for my characters. I did it for Derek Gaines' characters too, just in case we might have missed something. So you definitely not gonna want to miss this. And my views and my subscribers been going up. So I gotta appreciate Derek Gaines for holding it down. You know what I mean? So maybe people like me and Derek Gaines combination, 1-2 punch. Uh I might have to call it mac and cheese part one. Nah, but let me bring my brother on. Uh, what's going on, bro?
Hey man, I appreciate the kudos, man. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Man, because of you, I started collecting my comics again, man. I went back and started getting issues from the 80s and 90s. Uh my last collection got up to like 300 issues of mostly Marvel. First print, first edition, limited edition. I had them all, man, but unfortunately, life happens, man. So I appreciate it, man. I didn't think I would start collecting again, man. And next thing y'all know, I'm finding the issues that from when I, let's see, it was 92 is when I started, and I ended it in 2002. So, and I had a lot. I had a lot of them. I had boxes. I mean, I had boxes.
I
And
believe you. I believe
oh,
you. You know your stuff.
yeah, man. I had to go back and like, oh man, when I got some, I just got some issues right in front of me, man. They're about 20 years old. No, no, these are from uh 80. 80. The oldest one is from the 80s. And man, to see them advertisements in the comics bring back memories, man. I ain't gonna lie, they bring back good memories.
That's good. That's good. Salute to my family, Pooh Man. One of my number one subs, him and Derek Gaines. But of course, Derek Gaines, if he wasn't on the panel, he would definitely be in the chat right now.
Yes,
And
sir.
salute to Eric Jordan. Salute to Amanize. I appreciate y'all so much. I don't understand. And like I said, apologies for the latenesses. Salute to y'all. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, yeah, man. So let's let's dive into it, man.
All
So
right.
before I get started, I just want to say this is five comic book characters. It could be villain or a hero powers and abilities that you would like to have. So we're gonna start with me and Derek Gaines gonna go back and forth like we usually do. Uh, so Derek Gaines, who would you like to go to first?
I'm gonna go right down my list.
Okay,
The first one I got is Quicksilver.
okay, Pietro, Maximo.
I see salute to my good brother Eric Jordan. Uh I wish we could have got Tay Tay on here. Cause I know
Yo, she brought you up on my other channel.
she would have just went
Brought
straight
you up.
Superman.
She
I,
brought you up, and so did D-Man. D-Man brought you up also.
oh
Because me
man,
was talking
I
earlier.
appreciate it, man. I appreciate the
They
love.
said they brought up Superman because I asked them, and me and
Uh-huh.
D-Man was playing online, and I said, D-Man, who is somebody that, you know, powers you want to have? He said, oh, D-Man. D-Man, I love him to death. He's so Texas. He said, I want Superman powers. I was like, oh God. I said, I gotta bang the gavel. That's the first thing I said to him. But he
See,
explained.
Superman powers are limited. Period. I mean, there's just so
Hey,
many.
I said
So
that
many,
you thinking like me. You thinking
he's limited. Um, there's one character in Marvel that could go round and round with Superman and come out on top. And it's not the Incredible Hulk. It's not the Juggernaut.
uh-oh.
It's the Gladiator from the Shi'ar Empire.
Yeah, she are.
He is the Marvel
Mm-hmm.
version of Superman, but his powers come from if he believed he could do it, he could do it. So it's really his powers are really unlimited. And he's not even a mega
The
I'm
Century could
trying.
beat him too. Remember?
Sentry could beat him too, but Sentry is like a godlike being.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
he
yeah,
could beat anybody. I
yeah.
mean, if you
Because
gonna go
if
Sentry,
you're
Infinity,
boy,
uh,
it's
let
a
me
rap
see who.
Superman.
It's a wrap. But
Yeah,
if you get like Gladiator, man, I think that would be a fair fight. Sentry, he has to dumb his powers down to to even stand in the square circle with Superman. I like to see him and Superman go at it with MMA. That would be
I
funny.
would like that. You know what? I'm gonna try to research that if somebody ever made a video on that, the Century versus Superman. But you got your wish.
Yes,
Hey,
yes.
he was just talking about you. You're gonna live for a long time, sis. Because that's what Derek Gaines said. He said, I wish Tay Tay was here.
Yeah,
And
I
Tay Tay,
know.
look what she did. Look at this. Look how she disrespects my channel, y'all. Look at that Superman
See,
avatar. She did
I,
not have that avatar earlier. She was waiting for this.
that must be Supergirl, and she is still limited. See, their powers are limited to the yellow sun. Gladiator's powers are
Say
not
that.
limited.
I told D Man that he ain't want to listen.
Is a limitation on. See, in DC Comics in the early years, he was like um unbeatable. He was like unbeatable. And then on top of that, Gladiator is not wearing a cape for anybody. He serves the crown, and that's it. He's not gonna go rescue Lois from falling off of a 90-story
Yeah,
building which she shouldn't have been on in the first place. But
yeah.
yeah, maybe next week you could drop Tay Tay a line and she could come up.
We're gonna just do that. Tay Tay, first though, before we set that up, Tay Tay, and we get into our picks. Are you off next weekend, Tay Tay? Because we gonna finally do this.
She could drop if you want. She could jump on now. Just give
Uh,
us five choices and their powers.
mm. Tay Tay, you got 5 choices and powers right now. You know Superman gonna be one of them. I don't know
Yeah,
why you want to do this,
we
Derek Gaines.
already know Superman gonna be one of them.
We're fast with Tay Tay. You know Superman's powers is gonna be one of them. She said, "I'll come on, dang. See why? Why you start Derek Gaines? You know
I,
what? I'd
yes,
rather
honey.
it be a show where we talk about disadvantages and things like that."
Hold on, guys. My daughter was talking to me. I asked her earlier. I said, "You want to come on with me?" No, no. As soon as we get into it, she start calling my name like, "Daddy, you get my text?" Like, no. Uh, what's my HBO password? I
She,
don't know it.
oh, she didn't know the
I
password.
don't, man. Let me tell you. I don't know my passwords, man. I forget them so much that I have to, push in. I forgot password. But since my daughter didn't set it up, she can't get access to it unless I give it to her. So she just gonna have to wait.
Okay.
Cause if it's not the normal password that I use, I don't know what it is. I will have to look it up, and she's just gonna have to wait.
Okay.
All
I'll
right, is Tay Tay ready? Or we
He
waiting on her?
said, she said, act, you scared. She said, act, don't want to hear the truth.
I'm gonna tell you whose Tay Tay picks are. It's gonna be Superman,
Yeah.
probably Solomon Grundy.
She
Um,
he said Solomon Grundy. Born on a Monday.
I give her John Stewart, the Green Lantern. Um, that's three. Let's go with Lex
Said
Luthor.
wrong. Laugh out loud. She said wrong.
Let's go with Lex Luthor and hmm, Batman. No, I don't think she's gonna choose Batman.
Uh-oh.
I don't
Uh-oh.
think
You
I don't
struck
think she's gonna choose Batman.
well, you know what? Let's get into Quicksilver. Let's do that.
All right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's leave. You know what?
Okay.
Next week, well, right before you go, I'm not gonna break your wisdom. Go right into it when I finish. Next
Mhm.
week, Tay Tay, I promise we can do that. I'm not afraid of nothing. It's gonna be Batman versus Superman if you off next week. I will set up the live now. It'll be Batman versus Superman. It'll be me and Derek Gaines on the Batman side, and you and D Man on the Superman side. I believe D Man is off next weekend, so it will be perfect. All right, go ahead, brother. Let's go to Quicksilver. Pietro,
Um,
Pietro.
Pietro Maximoff.
Yes, sir.
He is the son of Magneto and brother to Wanda Maximoff, the
Yes, sir.
Scarlet Witch. His first appearance in Marvel Comics was in 1964. He has superhuman speed and stamina. He has basically all the powers that Flash has, but he
Not
was
all of them, but I get into that.
mhm, he was born with the powers. Flash obtained his powers by
That's true.
accident,
Yeah.
basically. And Quicksilver has a major flex. His dad is Magneto. I mean, he's like one of the alpha mutants. And he did marry. He married in the comics. He married one of the Inhumans, and they had a child. And this was during a fatal attraction where Wolverine got his metal pulled out by Magneto. The
Yes.
next issues after that were Blood Ties, which was a crossover between X-Men and Avengers. And Quicksilver was in all of the issues. because the mutant Exodus kidnapped his daughter. So it was that blood ties is a good issues y'all might want to get into. He has healing factor because of his stamina, and he could create like gust of winds, um, like the flash through running in circles around somebody, creating a vortex.
Yes.
His powers, Quicksilver powers, are basically, have to deal with speed. The best version of Quicksilver I've seen, uh, that is not in the comics, was in the or what was it, X-Men Apocalypse, when Quicksilver showed up to the mansion and it was in the process of blowing up, and he went through the whole mansion saving people and had a time to drink some tab, and I, that's the best version of Quicksilver I've seen. Um, Other than that, his powers I would like, just fast, this just fast. And I was thinking, like, man, who powers that I would like? It's not going to be anything related to Superman. So I was thinking,
Everything
like, oh,
really got it out for you, Tay Tay. You better call out.
now
You
I
better.
ain't gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. I used to like Superman,
I did too,
but he always got his
but
butt
I never
whooped.
liked him more than Batman. I never
He
did.
always got.
My
They did one cartoon on Justice League Unlimited where they let Superman cut loose on Dark Side. That was awesome. But other than that, they always weakening, and that's how they did it in the comics when they uh, created Dark Side, not Dark Side, Doomsday,
Doomsday,
to kill Superman.
and he
And
did.
then after
He
that,
killed
I
him.
was like,
He still,
I'm
he
kind
still
of done with Superman. How many Supermans has it been? But there's only been one Batman.
talk to him. Let me just add on to Pietro Manchimo. He got
Hmm.
super speed. He got super quick thinking. Uh, he actually has super strength because of his speed. He's able to generate power because of the momentum of his speed of from the force of the speed, basically. Uh, Quicksilver's aura seems to protect people that he carries when he's hyper accelerated. uh, and his accelerated metabolic rate allows him a quick recovery, and he can resist effects of frictions when he speeds up through his aura. I don't know how that is through the aura that he has because he leaves like a gray and blue streak. Uh,
Hmm.
but you know, that aura protects him from his like gear and stuff ripping off through harsh temperatures and things like that. His
Hmm.
metabolism was increased daily as well as his powers grew daily. So if he didn't die in the comics and in the movies, he probably would be he probably wouldn't even just be only able to go as fast as Mach 767, uh which only makes him really faster than uh airplanes and jets and bullet trains, but he is a dope character, and Quicksilver is definitely not a foe to be taken lightly. Like he could definitely, like I said, build up momentum from his speed. He done hit Captain America. He done hit Thor. like I said, through his force of speed, it makes him stronger and stuff like that. But at the same time, he could actually be harmed too. If you catch him, if you time him correctly, he can get hurt. And as we can see, he's not in, but he's definitely a character. I think that was a good by Derek Gaines.
That was a great analysis, man. I didn't see all that about him, so you dove a little deeper than I did. Um, that was a great breakdown. Um, I couldn't find a quote that would match him, so I didn't. The only thing I know is speed kills.
I
So
hear.
he has again he's a mutant.
Yes,
So he's not like one of those upper level mutants, but he is somebody you shouldn't take for granted because he did in the comics stand up to Magneto,
his fault.
his father, and that's how in the comics Wolverine got his metal yanked out of him because Magneto was in the process of dispatching Quicksilver, and Wolverine jumped into action and sliced him. And then Magneto's next move was pull the metal out of Wolverine, which they hinted to that in X-Men '97. They hinted to that, but they hinted to three different storylines in the last episode. One storyline was the Onslaught storyline, where Xavier shuts down Magneto's mind,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they alluded to Age of Apocalypse. They teased that, and they teased the origin of Apocalypse. So they did if you go back and watch the last episode, they alluded to three different storylines, and it would be interesting to see which one they go to.
Yes, sir. Well, I got a quote for you.
Hmm.
And like my brother, one of my favorite comic book characters, would have said, I'm the Flash. Speed is my game. And,
Hey,
and
brother, did you see Eric Jordan says
oh,
uh you dropped the link, Tay Tay ready?
he said, drop the link. Tay-Tay's ready. I kind of want to have it set up because look,
Uh
I'll be the referee. I won't even if we can't get D-Man on, if we because I feel like me and Derek Gaines would be a handful. Me and Stay Ready would be a handful. Derek Gaines and Stay Ready would be. Any of
hmm.
those type of combinations is gonna be a handful. So
Yes, sir.
I'm kind of nervous to do that against Tay Tay and D. I don't want to do that to them because I loved it.
I watched her short
Yeah,
um
games.
a couple days ago. She did a short, and I was looking. I was like, "Oh, is that Tay Tay? Oh, okay." She don't look like a Superman fan, but I
Yeah,
guess
she
he might.
was. Oh, I
She
got a
don't look like
picture,
a Superman fan.
picture for you. I got a picture for you. Tay Tay wearing a Batman T-shirt.
Yes,
Yes, yeah, I know it's
yeah.
hard to believe.
She
Tay got a Batman T-shirt on, and she's giving me all this grief about Superman, and he couldn't even beat my man's in
he
the race.
couldn't be. He couldn't. I had that comic book where
I got
uh,
the first one. I took it from my uncle.
Flash was racing Superman.
Yeah, I got the
I
fourth
had
one.
that comic book.
I don't got the 2009 one. I need to get the 2009,
Hmm.
but I have the one from like the I don't remember like the 50s. I got the copy. My uncle gave it
Yeah, I
to me.
had I
Time.
when I started collecting comics, they looked like at the time they looked like the Sunday funnies. When I started to collect comics, I remember that. I don't even know if they have a Sunday paper anymore.
Shoot, probably don't need it because it's cell phone.
Yeah,
But
everything's on the internet now.
let me get into it, and you could comment after.
Yes,
So
sir.
my speedster that I'm going with is the Flash, the speedster. Personally, uh, the Flash can reach light speed. It ain't no Mach nothing, because when you at Mach speed, that's still the speed of sound. You know, he's going light speed. The Flash, and the Flash, just like Quicksilver, he thinks quick, but the Flash, he thinks so quick. I don't remember him going so fast that a shockwave hit a building, right? And the
Right.
Flash freaking ran to the library, looked in it. This is what I mean by he also thinks quick. Looked through a textbook of architects and was able to rebuild the whole entire projects after he read the book. Literally. That was one of the best comments. And then after he did that, the girl's building that got broken down, her projects that got he ran, paid for a teddy bear, ran it back to her, and then drunk a drink of coffee. That's the Flash. The Flash has endurance. He can conjure lightning, certain flashes anyway. Can conjure lightning by speeding up, spinning around, and throwing lightning in the whirlwind. He can vibrate his molecules and phase through objects. Come on, bro. If I had that power, he also has a healing factor. Not only does he have a healing factor, he could look the main reason why I picked him is because of the super speed. Now we got to understand his super speed is a bit different than Quicksilver. This is why, to me personally, not to I love Derek Gaines, but I feel like the speeds that he should have picked, he should have went this way because I could run in time. I could go back in time and change different things. Now, I'll admit it will affect different things. It'll change certain things. So running back in time isn't always the greatest thing. I know what Derek Gaines is gonna say. Yeah, you gonna run back in time, but you ain't gonna be who you are. So I know what I already know what everybody gonna say. Act, you gonna run back, you gonna change it, but still, that's a very powerful power to have to change the course of history, running back in time. And another ability that he has, so if we were speedsters, Derek Gaines, I would be able to talk so fast with you that somebody like Tay Tay or D Man wouldn't be able to understand.
I
You would,
think
but they
uh, I, I think Flash is a good choice. Um, I think Flash and the Justice League Unlimited cartoons. I think they didn't do him justice. You
I actually
know,
like that version of. I
they
like
didn't. They made him too like. To me, they made him too like let's say Green Arrow. You know, he didn't have the super villains like Batman and
He did.
Superman and
He did.
Wonder
He
Woman.
had a good Rose Gallery. You don't remember his Rose Gallery?
Mm-mm.
He
I
had
have to now see. I have to watch it again since you brought it up. I have to watch it again, but
for the show. I'm going
the
on the comics. Like he had like he's like probably second to Batman with his Rose Gallery. He got the Weather Wizard. He got Mirror Master. He got
I like Mirror Master.
He got Captain Cold. Nah, he's actually somebody that actually has bad guys to follow. Um,
You see, Captain Cold is nobody without his gun.
yeah, just like Mr. Freezing.
Right.
We still love Mr.
Um.
Freeze anyway.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be honest. I like the Flash, but I didn't pay that much attention to him because you put him in the room with Batman. Um. I'm going for Batman.
Oh
I. I
well, I mean, you can't because I'm gonna have to agree with you.
right.
But
I
at the end
mean,
of the day, the Flash is no dummy.
I'm
The
not saying he
Flash
is.
is a
I'm
forensic
just saying.
second, probably smartest. I would say the second smartest person in the Justice
Compared to who?
compared to everybody else.
Let's
Outside of
see. The
that,
smartest people in DC Comics that I
oh,
know.
I said the Justice League. I ain't say
Uh,
DC because
compared to Batman.
no, I said that's what I'm saying. I said second. I said second.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
said second to Batman. I would never say that. I ain't gonna lie, because Batman is smart. Shout out to Michael Ray the second. I see you out there. My fault. Me and Derek Gaines, we just discussing stuff. Yeah, but you gotta understand Superman is a forensic scientist. Stop this is Superman is not on the same level as Barry Allen and
No, he's not. Superman. He may see a molecule, but he don't know his chemical makeup.
like Barry and I remember, matter of fact, in that Justice League War movie when they all met each other and they formed, and Batman wasn't shaking nobody hand. The Flash did what he did, right?
Hmm.
He was like, Green Lantern was like, yeah, don't worry about him. This dude's a total tool. Like, he's not gonna shake your hand, anything. He said, Flash. He reached Batman reached his hand out to the Flash. He said, I see what you do in Central City. You do tight, efficient work. Like,
You realize everybody had their own city, almost
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
in
respect.
DC Comics.
And it's not bats aren't rodents. You gonna make me get a copyright and play that clip. Prayers up for Val Kilmer because he got throat cancer. Remember, he said, yeah, Batman something's a flying rat. He said bats aren't rodents.
Bats are not rodents.
They aren't. They really aren't. And Tay Tay, you know this is a children's channel. I don't want you to learn the children wrong because of your hate. Because of your hate, my nephew watches this, and I have to tell him sometimes when you say stuff like that, that bats aren't rodents. Because he'd be like, bats is fine. He would say that too if he seen Tay Tay, because he's very smart. He would say bats are flying rats, and I would have to tell him like bats aren't rodents.
No, they're not rodents.
And I don't want you going around saying.
Better than a flying leotard.
But anyway, you
You
stupid.
don't
You got
you
anything
don't
else?
know if he's gonna be there. If I seen this cartoon. I need to watch it again. Um, where Batman trolls Superman in the cartoon, and Superman found out that he was Batman, and he
Yes,
kind of flexed on him, and he was
yes,
like,
that was a
and
just.
then,
That was this. I think that was a Superman series episode.
right, and Lois Lane, she was like, I got a date with Bruce Wayne tonight,
Yeah, yup.
and then
Talk to him. Talk.
Superman finds a tracer on Lois Lane's clothes, and he looks off as Clark Kent. He looks off in the distance, and he sees Batman standing there with a pair of binoculars, and Superman was like, "Touche, Batman, touche." And then Batman jumps off into the distance. That's Batman. He has a contingency plan for everything,
That's a fact. Even your girl.
even your girl, which was a flex. I mean, it was a flex. I only heard of Batman having things for Catwoman and
She was the only one.
Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Oh, Talia. Talia.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about. You know what, Tay Tay? Stay there. Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. We gonna get through this in a manly fashion. What you want next?
Silver Surfer.
Norrin Rad of Zenla.
Norm Ride. Uh, I was gonna choose Galactus, uh, but I chose Silver Surfer because I've always been fascinated with space, like what's out there, black holes, and all that stuff, man. I have read about that stuff all my life. And to be able to move faster than the speed of light, which Silver Surfer can, um, that would be that would be an awesome power to fly in between the stars, so to speak. Norrad, he became Galactus Herald to save his planet, Zenla. I do believe his first appearance in Marvel Comics was 1966, Fantastic Four. Um, what made his powers his ability to fly in space and go from one end of the universe to the next in a blink of an eye. Galactus made him a herald. He would go out and hunt down planets so Galactus would devour them. And Galactus gave him the power of the power cosmic. His powers was unlimited. He can change metal, the molecular structure of things, which was hidden, teased about in the Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. It was that movie should not have been named Rise of the Silver Surfer, but he can change the molecular structure of things. He could take your powers. He could augment his own powers. So, for instance, if he goes up and gets somebody like the Hulk, he can use the power cosmic to make himself stronger. Um, I thought being the Silver Surfer was cool. And then when he betrayed Galactus in the Fantastic Four issue, Galactus took the stars away from him and made Earth his prison, which he was there for a while until Galactus um, needed him again. His powers were superhuman strength, speed. There was nothing he couldn't do in the comics. The way they used him in the movies, they really dumbed him down as far as powers because he didn't need his board in the comics. he didn't need his board to to get powers from. The power cosmic was put into the Silver Surfer, and he used that to create his board. Him and his board are bound. It the the power to fly in between the stars, man. I mean, like, yo, I want to go over here and let me just blink myself there, and he will find planets, and he wouldn't even go prepare them like the movie showed. He would just send out a signal, and Galactus would show up sometime later and dispatch his machines and suck the planet dry, and Silver Surfer would move on to the next planet. But it was something about Earth that he wanted to save, and so Galactus spared Earth and made him a prisoner for a while in Earth. But the power to fly in between the stars. I couldn't find a quote for him either, because his whole life was a quote. He spent a lot of time being depressed, because not only that he saved his home world, Galactus hid it from him, and he was married at the time, so Galactus hid everything from him. Not that Galactus moved it; he just hid hid it within his memory. He knew of it, but didn't know where it was.
Yes.
That's how powerful Galactus was or is. It's unfortunate they made Galactus into like a cosmic dust cloud. It was just nothing like that in the comics. Nothing. Um, like I said, I couldn't find a quote on the Silver Surfer. Um, uh, Throughout his space travels, he came across the Kree Empire, which was in one of the Marvel movies. There's the Kree, the Shi'ar,
Yes. Yep.
um, and the Skrulls. The Shi'ar they haven't introduced them yet. It was the Skrulls who could shapeshift, and the Kree, and that's where Miss Marvel got her powers from. But it didn't happen like that in the comics. It was Captain Marvel, and it was a guy who was a Kree. And long story short, the Captain Marvel that's now she got her powers stolen by Rogue the mutant
Yes.
at a
Yep.
time,
Yes.
and I forget how the original Carol Danvers got her powers, but the original Captain Marvel was a Kree, full-blooded Kree. But anyway, Silver Surfer has fought against Galactus several times. He has fought Thor. He has fought some heavy hitters. He was in the original Infinity War saga, which was in the comics. It now the way they did the movie, it was fantastic. I can't take away from it. But on the other hand, how cool would have been if the Silver Surfer was in it? That would have been so
Yeah, but
cool.
I
He,
think the Silver Surfer deserved his own movie.
yeah, that is true. But the way they
Yeah.
have done in Marvel was tease a character, then give them their own movie. They did it with Black Panther. He was in the Winter Soldier, and then they gave him his own movie. They did it with Captain Marvel at the end, where after Thanos snapped his fingers, and they teased Captain Marvel, and then they give her own movie. Um, that's just the history of what they've been doing it. I don't think the Silver Surfer has a broad enough audience to give him his own movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, he will have to. a good movie. One of the movies I actually thought he was going to be in was Guardians of the Galaxy.
I could have seen him in that. They could have easily,
They could have easily sneaked him in there,
yeah.
but
But again, they could have did that also with Howard the Duck, which they did do at the end of
yeah,
one of the
they did do they
they was up, and
they put Howard the Duck. I did not like Howard the Duck. I ain't gonna lie to you, brother. I didn't
I,
like his movie.
I like the comics, not the movie, not the
I
movie.
didn't read his comments. If I didn't like you from the start, I wouldn't have read it. Oh man, the movie was god awful. The only reason I saw him in the comments because they teased him in a lot of the comments I was already reading.
He knows quack food. That's all I'm gonna tell you. He knows quack food. That's what they
But
say.
I think Howard the Duck would have beat Superman.
Yeah, because he know quack food.
He
Look at
knows quack food.
Tay Tay. Tay Tay mad at us. She said we hate and we didn't bring her home. Um,
Well, I just think flying from planet to planet with the ability to fly from planet to planet, I think that would have been so awesome. Even Superman. Some issues and some cartoons you see Superman that's flying into space like it was no problem. In other issues, you see him in a space suit. Silver Surfer don't need that. I don't even think he breathes. He's endowed with the power cosmic, and I couldn't, like I
yeah.
say, I couldn't find a quote that would fit him. I couldn't find it. I
Uh,
couldn't
so
find it.
Silver Surfer, like you said, he got the power of cosmic life energy formed from the universe put inside of him. His body is coated with metallic alloy, which the material basically makes him invulnerable. Uh, and he has super strength. He can fly. He's super fast. He's actually telepath. He can actually speak to you telepathic. A lot of people don't know that. To other beings, he actually doesn't have to move his lips. He can create illusions. Uh, he also has matter manipulation. He can make himself shrink small, so he can enter the microverse with like Ant Man and stuff like that. Um, like you said, he can travel at the speed of the light, so he can also travel to other dimensions. And he has a healing factor, and he could also has projection powers and absorb other people that are blasting their energy. Salute Queen 71. She said Silver Surfer worked for Galactus. Yeah, he was a worker, but then he became a boss. And he became a boss, Queen. But yeah, man, that was it. To me, this was a good pick. Only thing that I would have wrong with it, don't be screwing with my memory.
Hmm.
Don't be screwing with my memories, Galactus. But outside of that, I could survive off of having no food. I don't need to eat. I could just travel. The cosmic system. Because Norrin Rad, he lived in a peaceful planet. Y'all gotta understand. So when that threat with Galactus was the biggest thing that ever happened in Norrin Rad's life, and he always longed to go out there and explore and things like that. But because of how peaceful and how perfect his world was, there was no reason to do that. They had everything they needed there. But I'll say this, and then we're gonna move on. Silver Surfer was a real one because he did sort of what Galactus did. Galactus was actually, or Gallon. Galactus was a scientist. A lot of people don't know that, and his world was on the brink of extinction. So his world being on the brink of extinction, he basically got in the ship and was trying to save his world. It exploded. The sun was basically about to evaporate his world, and that's kind of how Galactus got his powers and became how he became. But yeah, I'm gonna go to the next one. You could go on. You could go on mute, Derek. Derek, and if you can, I know
Mhm.
you watching something that you try to turn it down just a little bit. I don't want to get copyright because I could get copyright.
Oh, that's my daughter you hear in the background.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, she's in her room playing her game. So that
Oh,
little whatever you hearing,
okay,
that's her.
okay.
Yeah, and her door shut. That's how loud she is.
Damn,
But
this is
I could
picking
say
up
something to her real quick.
every day, man. That's crazy. If her door is shut and I can hear it,
Hey,
damn, it's pick
hey,
up everything.
Tegan, Tegan, could you hold it down just a little? Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, I told you you on live.
Oh,
They can hear you. Yeah. Well, now you do. And get that room clean. Oh Lord. Sorry, brother.
nah, you good, you good, you good. Um,
Yeah, I got my door shut. Her door shut.
that's
I know if I can hear, you can hear.
yeah, 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 yeah. That's crazy that I didn't know that it was picking it up on there. Uh,
Yeah, I know how the copyright thing go on that.
yeah.
Um, I turned my radio down. I turned everything down. I shut my bedroom door. My daughter's room is across the hall, and yeah, she loud.
All right, let's get into it. Professor X, Charles. Well, Magneto would have said Charles, no Charles.
No, Charles.
Man, Professor X is a telepath that can read minds. Through his telepathic ability, he could actually connect with others. He can influence others' thoughts. Uh, he his telepathic ability acts and makes him have a pretty long focus, knowledge of pressure points. He actually had military training before he got crippled. So yeah, Professor X could take it there with y'all if y'all think that it's easy work. Um, he can mask his presence through his telepathic ability. He can camouflage, absorb info very quickly with his telepathic abilities. He can store a lot of info by taking by reading your mind. He could take a lot of information. Uh, so that's basically through a mental transference. He can communicate with anyone because, again, of his telepathic abilities. So this is a power I will want. Even if I don't speak the same language as you, I will understand what you're saying because I can read your mind. He could shapeshift because he could disillude you in your mind and make you see what he wants you to see. He also has a psychic shield that he could turn on. So basically, if there's other telepaths around, he could have barriers that block. your mind, and basically you won't be able to get into my mind. He said he also he also can erase your memories. He can also possess the mind of other people, and he has astral projection, and his mental abilities gives him a longer lifespan and a healing factor. A lot of people didn't know that. So I would definitely want Professor X's powers. Definitely.
Um, I'm gonna need a gavel on this one. Let me let me let me
What you mean you gonna need a gavel on this one? What?
let me ba- let me bang something.
You said
While you
big
was talking, I muted myself and let my daughter know she's still too loud. She threw a little hissy fit and ran downstairs. I said, you don't have to go downstairs. You could just keep it down a little. But I pick my battles.
I hear you.
Let's see.
I'm sorry about that little games. My
Oh
bad.
man, she get over it, man. Um, Professor Xavier was too soft, and the best part to me when Professor Xavier went crazy and turned into Onslaught. That was the best that I saw him. When he snatched the Crimson Gem or a Satirac from right off of the Juggernaut, just snatched it off and used it as a paperweight. That was a flex move. I loved it. And then he's sitting in there in the next issue. He's sitting in his study, and he called all the X-Men together, and he's just sitting there with this maniacal look on his face. I mean, like, yeah, that's the Xavier that I've been wanting to see. You can't be a saint all the time, and then as they got deep into his psyche, especially after he wiped Magneto's mind in Fatal Attraction.
Onslaught. Then he
Um,
become onslaught a little bit after that.
what'd you say?
Then he become onslaught a little bit after that.
Yeah, he became Onslaught after that. Um, he was a mega, what is it, mega, omni level mutant,
Omega, yeah, Omega level.
omega level mutant. He does have mind control, but his mind control is limited. Remember, he had to use Cerebro to project his thoughts. So his mind control is only like if he could see you, he can control you. And then he had to use
Yeah, he can
Cerebro
only
to
reach so far. Yeah.
find, yeah, to extend his powers. Um, I thought they didn't do him justice in X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, that
They
was
made
hard.
him,
That was nasty work right there.
yeah, they made him weak. It's just like, man. But as the founder of the Xavier Higher Institute of Learning, I think that's what it's called. His goal was to peaceful coexisting with regular humans. And there were some mutants who were like, nah, we should rule them. And then there's some mutants who were like, nah, I just want to be left alone. And then there was some mutants like, yeah, we should live with peace with them. But he got beat by Nate Gray. Nate Gray was the first one to tell everybody Xavier is going crazy. Nate Gray was one of the holdovers from the Age of Apocalypse. Nate Gray was what Cable should have been without the technovirus infected him by Apocalypse. So Nate Gray had all the powers Cable got, but without majority of his power was holding back um, hit the technovirus. So Nate Gray beat him, and he tried to tell everybody that Xavier was losing his mind, and then Xavier turned into Onslaught. Um, the ability to control somebody, yeah, I could see me wanting to do that, but he can't walk. I would rather walk.
You and Queen 71 is funny. You and Queen 70 because she said the same thing. She said he can do
There's
everything.
no, yeah, there's not. You know what's funny? You know what's funny? It's like in the comics, the mutants are um, the minority. So they are trying to ink out an existence just for them, just to live alone. And then there are some who just rather be taking control, like Magneto, Mystique, Brotherhood of Evil, uh, and then there's some who don't care about nobody, which is Apocalypse. It's just, yeah, I could see the mind control thing. Yeah, but his mind control is limited, and what he when he see you, if you in his area and he see you, you don't have to see him, but he see you, you're like, yeah, he can control your mind. As far as using his military close quarter combat skills, it don't do him no good in the wheelchair, and in his
It's
in his
before.
go around. What's it called? The go around.
Nah, this is before. I was talking
Oh
about
yeah, I had that issue when him and Magneto got into a bar fight.
yeah.
I have that issue. So yeah, I know he wasn't always in a wheelchair, but I know that as his powers manifested, he lost the ability to walk because of his mental
He
powers,
was
his
still
psychic powers.
he was still getting busy though. He had kids. Remember, he had
Yeah,
Legion.
he did have kids, and you know what happened to his kid? Let's see, he had two kids. He had one. He had wait a minute. He had one by Dr. McTaggart.
Yep.
Her son turned into Proteus,
Yes, sir.
a mutant that had reality shaping powers, and he made Wolverine cry like a newborn baby. I remember that. Wolverine was scared to go up against him because his powers just like it was out of control. It was out of control. His second son he had with Dr. Haller. So I guess Professor X was all over the place.
Yes, he was.
Um,
Yes, sir.
his son became was born David Haller. He had the same mutant powers Professor X had, but he had a Fatric psyche within three different psyches, which was Jamal. I know Jamal was one, and it was two more. I forget the names. And he became Legion, which went back in time. You talking about going back in time with the Flash? He went back in time to stop Magneto from interfering with Professor X. So him and his mom can have, and the dad, which was Professor X, could be happy in his dream of coexisting with the world would be possible if Magneto wasn't in the way. And instead of Legion killing Magneto, he ended up deleting Professor X, and that sent us into the Age of Apocalypse series.
She said, I thought he was in an accident as a young brooding pope. Why he was purple.
That could have been true. That
He
I thought that
different.
might be right. That might be right. I thought his when his powers became fully manifested, I thought he lost the ability to walk. Um, because in the cartoon, when they went to the Savage Land, he didn't. Magneto and Professor X didn't have any powers, so Magneto could use his powers to fly. Xavier didn't have his mental powers, and they both was ordinary humans. But she might be right. She might be right.
All right, let's go to your next
Let's see. My next one is Forge, and I actually got a quote for Forge. Um,
one. I ain't
Confucius.
about him. I gotta give you credit. You made me do all my homework on this.
Well, remember when you asked me about the powers? I said knowledge at a sight. Forge has that. He is smarter than Tony Stark.
Yes,
He
and I
is.
like comparing him to him because he's so smart. He may not be
Mhm.
able to build you something the same way unless you bought him back the exact same parts.
Yes, he
If
can
you
make
bring one
if he
piece,
could see it, he can make it. If he could think about it, he can make it.
yeah,
That's his mutant ability. He can see mechanical energies on how they work in machines. He can envision it. He could put it together and all that. And he he's smarter than Tony Stark, but he doesn't have Tony Stark's money. So it is for him to able to do everything. Ford's greatest enemy is the adversary, and back when in the comics, Forge was at war. He made a pact with the adversary. If he gets him home, he wanted to go home, and the adversary granted his wish by slaughtering his platoon, I think, and gave him the power to get through it. And then later on, the adversary came back and they had their battle and everything, which was pretty cool. I wish I still had that comic. Confucius say, "To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge."
mm,
Um, this guy, he knew what he needed to know at a glance. He said, "Oh, okay, I need to build something to go into outer space." "Oh, okay, yeah, give me that. Let's put it together, and boom, there they go." In the comics, I got the issue right in front of me. I think it's uh, X-Men 25 in 1994, Fatal Attraction. After Magneto pulled Wolverine's metal out and Xavier shut his mind down, Colossus said, "Forge is coming in a modified Blackbird." The Blackbird then couldn't fly into outer space. They had to catch the space shuttle, and Forge magnified modified it and
mhm.
made it able to go into outer space. He is a Native American. He's Cheyenne.
Yeah,
His
yup.
first his
Cheyenne Indians, yes, sir.
mhm. His first appearance is in 1984. He was with X Factor. I think he was with X Factor. He's been with Xavier for a long time, and he didn't have his own storyline. He was always rumored to um, to be Storm's boyfriend or love interest or anything like that. But for me, I haven't seen it in the comics or anything. I just know they always picture Storm either with Forge or the Black Panther. And like I said, his mutant ability is he can think it, build it, and it'll work. That's his mutant ability, and to have the knowledge to do it. That's what I would want. Because if I could look at my car and say, "Hey, this ain't right. Let me fix it." I wish I had that knowledge. But it's a pretty cool power to have. He doesn't have any like physical superpowers or anything like that. He doesn't have telekinesis or anything like that. He was just smart, and the reason why Tony Stark has what he has, remember, Tony Stark inherited that from his dad. His dad was the one who made Stark Industries. And Tony was smart, but he also has the capital too. So if Tony Stark didn't have the capital, I don't think Tony Stark would be Iron Man.
It don't matter. He still ain't smarter than Reed. Ain't nobody smarter than Reed.
Uh, Victor Von Doom.
Probably that's it.
Um, let's see.
Ain't nobody. Yeah, you. It's just. And Victor Von Doom, that's questionable.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
Victor, if you want to keep it real, I could make arguments about Reed still being the smartest man.
Let's see. Yeah, Reed Richards was smart before he got turned into Mr. Fantastic. So
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying. And he was the only person that could, when Galactus came to consume Earth, he was able to build something that, what I mean, that could satisfy his hunger. So Galactus
well, at the
actually,
time it was called. I think it was called the Nullifier.
I think,
That's what I think it was called. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I read that issue, and that issue right there, when Galactus first came, it was in Fantastic Four in the '60s, I think. And man, I seen a first issue Fantastic Four similar to that. It was $200. So these comics, um, they depending on the issue. If you have the original issue, not the reprint, but if you have the original issue of when Superman got killed, that's worth some money. If you have the issue where Captain America actually kills the Red Skull, that's worth some money.
mm,
So I had the issue of when Colossus sacrificed himself to stop the legacy virus. I had the original last four issues of the original Ghost Rider. The Ghost Rider now is like a reboot. And in the comics they always rebooting the character and everything. And I had the last four issues of the original one. That was back in the '80s, man. Yeah, but I would love to have knowledge at a glance.
um, Queen 71 said, if you build it, they will come. Um,
Yeah.
Forge, uh, he could perceive mechanical energy that makes him be able to predict different outcomes of how he can build things. If you give him something, a different part, he may not be, he actually may make it a different way. That's how smart
Mhm.
he is. If you give him one piece different than what you gave him before, he's that smart to where he'll have another idea and he'll perceive it a different way. He just like Derek Gaines said, he was raised by the Cheyenne Indians. He was trained to be a shaman, like a
Yes.
medicine doctor or healer. And through that, He can do enchantments and cast spells. A lot of people don't know that. He also can close portals.
Yeah,
See,
I knew about his shaman background, but I didn't add that in my list. And you just brought back to my memory, Alpha Flight had a shaman,
hmm
and X was it Excalibur or X Factor or X Force, one of them. They had one another guy called a Apache.
yeah, Apache. Yep, yep,
Hmm. And
yes,
he was a warrior. He wasn't a shaman. He was a
yeah,
warrior.
yeah. I was gonna say that he was different. He was fighting, but basically, yeah, he can see through illusions, and he has also astral projection, like a couple characters that we just named. So, Forge is definitely a force to be reckoned with, and I actually got to admit, this was a really good pick. Uh, I'm not complaining about this. Uh, I think we both only had one takeaway from both our picks. He didn't like my last pick, and I didn't like the Quicksilver pick. So we won and one. Because Quicksilver ain't messing with the Flash. So we won and one. We won and
Yeah, I just think Xavier Xavier got some dark secrets.
one.
And there's an issue during the onslaught line where they disclosed Xavier was really in love with Jean Grey.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Don't tell me! Don't tell me! Don't tell me! Let's
He
in there.
didn't act on it. He didn't act on it. He was just, they was onslaught was revealing Xavier's hidden thoughts, and he revealed it to Jean Grey. And at that time, we didn't know who Onslaught was, because if you remember in the build up to it, the Juggernaut got punched across the country. There was tell signs like Onslaught's coming. We didn't know who Onslaught was, and then they had the big reveal that it was actually Xavier. That was cold.
It
I like that.
reminded me of kind of like Red Hole.
Yes.
It was like that because we was wondering for like mad long. I was still in school. I was like, yo, who the hell is Red Hole? I thought it was Doc Samson, but then
Hmm.
we found out that it was Thunderbolt Ross. It made sense.
Yeah. Hey, it's man. I don't. One way I want them to do the onslaught storyline, but then another way I want them to do the Age of Apocalypse storyline. Man, I'm like, either one of them storylines is good with me, because during the onslaught storylines, we had three characters that they held over and brought them into the main storyline, which was the Dark Beast, the X-Man, and Holocaust.
She said you could tell he had something for her. Well, because they both was telepaths, Queen.
No, he hit Xavier powers was like he can hide his presence from other telepaths. So
Yes.
he
Yeah.
would have these dark desires, but he would never act on them. You remember I don't know if you saw the movie with Harry Potter, when Dumbledore took some memories out of his head and threw them in that little hand wash thing.
Yeah.
That's how Xavier did. He just pushed it down like, nope, I ain't gonna act on it. I'm not even gonna look her way. But they revealed that to Jean Grey because Onslaught pulled her into the astral plane. And then he was talking to her, showing her stuff like, "Oh, you think Xavier's so poor? Now watch this." And he played out the whole scene where Xavier confessed that he was secretly in love with Jean Grey.
Mm, mm, mm. Supposed to be like his daughter. I gotta bang. I gotta issue Xavier some terrible, nasty work, nasty work right there. All right, let me go to my
Queen
next.
71 said he ain't had crap from me. I just knew it.
Yep. Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, Xavier, excuse me. Xavier wasn't no saint.
Yeah, I knew that because you remember they used to get at him. I don't want to keep harping on Xavier,
Right.
but I want to get to the next one. But
Okay, okay, brother.
I remember in the early storylines of X Men when he erased one of the memories, and the rest of them was thinking about leaving the team because of that. Archangel, Beast, and the rest of them was looking at him crazy. He also actually did it to Beast. I forgot in what issue, but I used to have it. I think it was my older brother. And when Beast found out, he kind of didn't mess with him
Hmm.
for a while. So, yeah, man. But let's get to it. The God of Thunder. They said, you want to control the elements? If you can have powers, hell yeah. I want to be able to conjure up storms, summon thunder and lightning, all of that good stuff. Thor wields Mjolnir and gives him control of thunder and lightning. He's super strong. He can lift 100 tons. He can control the weather. He has a super immune system which protects him from multiple diseases and sicknesses and things like that. Um, Thor has a sixth sense, so he could see through like another dimension with that sixth sense, and he can also hear the prayers of people that prayed to him with that sixth sense. Um, he can manipulate energy. He could communicate with any being. Uh, he can cast spells. Uh, he has a healing factor. He has defense against mental attacks. He can alter his own memory. Uh, he had he has the Odin Force. He also and Tay Tay, you're gonna love this one if you're still here. Tay Tay. He has super breath. Superman ain't the only bastard, excuse my language, with super breath. Thor has super breath to where he can cool it down and it kind of forms into like a world. So yes, Thor has super breath. And he has a god blast that can basically it can it basically can eliminate it. So yes, I would definitely want horsepower. Oh, and I forgot about one other thing. He has a sort of, as we would call, uh, how my mom used to call it, when the breath of God went into somebody, a martial rage, to where the breath of God went into you. Similar to a berserker rage, Thor calls it the warrior's madness. It increases his strength tenfold, but he also sacrifices his moral compass. You got any comments?
Yeah. Um, um, I never really liked Thor.
What?
I collected his issues because he was an Avenger, but I never really liked him. Here's the reason why. He got beat consistently by Mogog. His powers were given to him by Odin. In the beginning, in the comics, he had to take on the guise of as Donald Blake while he was on Earth. Um, they 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 weaken in earlier in the comics. They weakened Thor. If he got his hammer knocked out of his hand and as he was preventing of getting his hammer back, he would turn back into Donald Blake. And that was a major Achilles for him. They even hinted to
I didn't like that version. I didn't. I don't
yeah,
think that.
yeah, yeah. That's
I'm
what
from my era.
uh, well it, well, you might as well give Thor a participation award just for showing up because he is not the strongest Avenger. Uh, to
Oh
me,
yeah, I know that. Hmm.
I do like his hammer. Did you know that in the later issues, his hammer came to life and refused to do his bidding? And then he had to fight Thanos. Thanos, when he lost the Infinity Gauntlet in the later issues, he went on a quest to find the unending chalice, and he had to get the map from Odin, a tear from somebody who never cries, and of course, Mogad was beating Thor to death, and she cried for him, and then he had this chalice, and he had to put the tear in the chalice and drink from the chalice. They gave him the power as though he had the Infinity Stones, and still Thanos was trying to rule death. And of course, it being Thor, he came back and beat Thanos. But yeah, I can see why you want Thor. The ability to control the elements, lightning, wind. With his hammer, he can open up portals. Um,
Yes, sir.
I don't know about the gaze. I know that I in the early issues I didn't see it. Uh, I just I can see why you picked that. I can see why you picked Thor. I just yeah. To me, he was weak. To me, he was weak. And now in the cartoons and in the movies, he could lose his hammer for a whole movie and he'll still be Thor. It wasn't like that in the comics. He wasn't Thor no more until Odin. I mean, and when Odin stripped him of his powers and then put the spell on the hammer, he wasn't Thor no more.
He said,
And he
"Well,
became Thor again once he earned it. But
what Anthony
yeah,
Hopkins said, whoever shall hold upon his hammer shall possess the power of Thor,
if he be worthy.
if he be worthy."
In the crossover of Marvel versus DC, Wonder Woman held the hammer.
I could believe it. She's worthy.
I had that comic, man. Oh, them issues. That was some good writing, but I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, I can see why you had Thor. I can see why.
She said, Queen 71 says Storm can control elements without ammonia. Well, actually, he found out that he could too. Queen. He just always thought his dad had to tell him that. You always was relying on the hammer, and you never needed it because he was born able to control the elements and create stuff.
Yeah,
So
but was that brought up in the cartoon or the show? I mean, in the cartoon or in the
yeah,
comics?
that was in the
Because
comic.
he always had his hammer.
Yeah, but he didn't need his hammer to control the thunder and stuff.
I know it was brought up in the movie. Um,
And
yeah,
more
but
the newer comics, not the old.
okay. Let's see. The last Thor comic I had was a gold foil cover, and he was on his way to battle Thanos for the fate of the universe.
I think this one
And
right here is the last one I had. The Immortal Thor series.
yeah,
Not
I
too
heard. See, back then they didn't do the Immortal Hulk and the Immortal Thor, and they didn't do that. It was just Hulk or Thor. Now it's World Breaker Hulk, Incredible Hulk, this Hulk, that Hulk, and the Immortal Thor. I mean,
I actually thought Immortal Hulk was the one of the best, and I don't read ones. I read real old ones, like I'm
mm,
talking about 40s. Like I got
mm,
Batman comics from when they first started. That's how real.
mm.
So I'm a real comic, but I gotta admit, the best Hulk I ever read was Immortal Hulk.
I'll check it out. I haven't read Immortal Hulk.
The
Hulk.
Immortal
I've heard about it.
line, like even Mac can tell you if Mac likes the old comics better, he'll tell you like, yo, Immortal Hulk. Because I thought in my mind, like, what else could you do with Hulk? And then they
Hmm.
that dude that wrote that very creative, much credit. Him and the illustrator, I don't remember who. I'll go look at it. Yeah, I
I
gotta.
think if Hulk, if the Incredible Hulk did not have a fractured psyche, he will be unstoppable. Because we had the Savage Hulk, we had Gray Hulk, we had Mr. Fix It,
Yes, sir. That
we
was
had Mr. Professor Hulk.
yeah.
Um,
I didn't like Professor Hulk. I,
I didn't like Mr. Fix It either.
I liked the Mr. Fix It better than Professor Hulk. He only
Right?
turned to Mr. Fix It when he was in Vegas because of the climate. I don't know what it was about Vegas that brought that persona out of. Like
Did you know
really,
the original? Did you know the original Hulk was gray because the
yeah,
printers could not do green ink?
yeah. I think every Hulk fan knows that, even if they 17, every Hulk they forced it. They forced that on you. You know that, right?
You see
They
what Tay Tay asked? Which Hulk did Thor defeat? It wasn't the Immortal Hulk.
nah. I don't
It
think
wasn't the World Breaker Hulk.
nah. It was probably the regular Savage Hulk.
It was probably probably Savage Hulk,
Probably smarter.
Hulk Smash. Yeah, it was. I think what's the World Breaker storyline when he came back to the Earth because
Oh yeah, he beat
um,
every yeah, because
he
they
beat everybody.
yeah, he wilded out. Um, but shoot, let's go to your next
My next one, the Apocalypse. Apocalypse.
one. Woo!
And I got, and let me tell you,
You made me do all my homework for this one. G.
personally, I love Apocalypse. I love everything about this dude.
I love him
The
now too. After all,
he's I got a quote from for him. I'm gonna get into it. The key to immortality is first giving a life worth living. Living a life worth living. My bad. The power that he has is immortality. His name is Ian Ian Sabanor. I think is means the first one or
Yes.
the ancient one.
No, it's the first one.
The first one. He is technically he's not the first mutant. He's not the oldest mutant. He was born in 3000 BC Egypt,
Hmm.
and there's in the comics he was there's another deity that's older than him. Um, let's see, Eric Jordan, my brother, he said, who said that? No, no, no. Queen 71 said, Apocalypse is evil. Excuse me. Apocalypse is evil.
It
He's not
depends
evil.
on point of view. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It depends. It depends on what point of view you're looking
He's
at.
not evil. His whole thing is um,
Survival of the fittest.
survival of the fittest, which is a Darwin theory that
And
the
she's
comics
a military person, so she
work
should know
work
that.
work in. Yeah, I got it. The phrase survival of the fittest is a concept from Darwinian evolution theory that describes the mechanism of natural selection. It suggests that the organisms are best adapted to their environment, are more likely to survive, reproduce, pass on their genes to the next generation. That's apocalypse.
That basically, you
His first appearance was in. I didn't. I thought in
it's
his appearance in the comics was older than this, but his first appearance is in X Factor in 1985. He
oh
has he was born in Egypt 3000 BC, became immortal by merging himself with a celestial device. If you go back and read the origin of Apocalypse, I think there are four issues. In issue three, the Pharaoh, there was another Ram Tut. Ram Tut, who was also a variant of Ming the Conqueror, was fighting the Fantastic Four. So Apocalypse snuck in into the pyramid, or what's the Sphinx? He snuck in and endowed himself with the celestial technology. He powered himself up. He got the cybernetic implants that you see him throughout his comics, and he became a. Let me bring it up. I'm trying to do it like you professionals do it. Okay. The nomads took the child when he was born. He was born different. He was born looking like that. The nomads took the child for their own, giving him the name Ian Sabanor, the first one, teaching him to be strong in order to survive the desert as a child. This idea that strong would survive would shape apocalypse actions throughout time. He was also the Celestials made him the caretaker of Earth. Apocalypse agreed to be the celestial caretaker who fostered the continued evolution of mutant kind, and he received numerous cybernetic upgrades from the Celestials in return. Although Apocalypse had to hibernate to restore his power, the upgrades extended his life significantly and increased his power in the comics. In the comics, Apocalypse had so many different mechanisms working at the same time to further his goal. If you look back and you look at the adventures of Cyclops and Jean Grey, or well, I think that's how it was named, the origin of Mr. Sinister. Apocalypse turned Isak, I forgot his last name, into Mr. Sinister, so Sinister can live long enough to see the ending of his experiments. Through Sinister, that's how we got Cable. Apocalypse wanted Cable's body
Yes, he did.
to to take control of. In the comics and later years after the AOA Age of Apocalypse storyline, they were fighting Apocalypse. The X-Men was fighting the Apocalypse with X-Man. Apocalypse set his sights since he couldn't get the Cable. Remember, I said the X-Men had the same powers Cable had, same genetic makeup because Cable came from Scott Summers and Jean Grey, and in the AOA storyline, Scott Summers and Jean Grey had Nate Grey. So Apocalypse decided to take his powers. Um, Cyclops stopped him by jumping in, so Cyclops became Apocalypse. That was awesome. Apocalypse has always had his four horsemen: death, war, plague, famine. Wolverine has been death. The Incredible Hulk has been war. Um, his mechanism stretched throughout time. He is kept alive through his hibernations. The movie did not do Apocalypse justice. If the movie would have did Apocalypse right, he wouldn't needed to absorb anybody. He was already powerful, but the movies made him look weak. And I was like, wait, no,
Wait,
no.
one takeaway.
Uh-huh.
Matt, Cable technically ain't really Gene's kid. It's Madeline Pryor's kid.
You're right. You're right. But Madeline Pryor is a clone of Jean Grey.
Yeah. So that's why I said technically, because you're right, they still the same person.
Right.
But so I guess that's it. Because she's still considering her kid. But go ahead.
Right. You're right. You're right. You're right. In AOA it was Jean Grey and Cyclops. In Marvel it was Cyclops and Madeline Pryor. That all came through Apocalypse. He's the one who turned Asik into Mr. Sinister. He's the one that is always called the Ancient One. He is the first mutant.
My children.
He's not human. He's the first mutant.
Yep.
Yeah.
He always called them his children.
His children, and his survival of the fittest. That's what he want around him, like somebody, and you can really see his things work out in the AOA storyline and how they rush to erase it to get it back to the normal flow of time. Apocalypse is the man. I always thought he was the ultimate bad guy in Marvel Comics. It's too bad they don't use him enough in Marvel. Period. Um, I know the X-Men got their bad guys. Avenger has their bad guys. Spider-Man has his bad guys. Batman, Superman, Sword. But Apocalypse, to me, is Thanos. That's how smart he is. That's how powerful he is. The ability.
Apocalypse is a bad guy. She said,
Yeah.
I understand all that, I guess, when we said survival of the fittest, but he felt humans were inferior, which he did in the comics.
Yeah, he did. He did, but they worshipped him, though. They worshipped him. They worshipped him.
They are compared, I guess they are inferior to mutants. And Queen is right. That's how he felt. That's exactly.
Yeah, Apocalypse in the movie, he was like, I'll make people's powers just by touching them. Nah, he put them in the the Shi'ar machine, and he like, all right, you're gonna be death, you're gonna be war, you're gonna be famine, you're gonna be pestilence, and go forth. And he
And
those
the
was his
comics have
heroes.
that. You know that they did it on their own will. Outside
Yeah,
of his kids, the first four horsemen, those was his kids. So they just
and Apocalypse, he's a shapeshifter. He can manipulate energies. He's not just immortal, but he's you can't read his mind because he's on that
yeah,
level. He
he got
you
mental
can't.
block.
Yeah,
Uh,
you
he got
what was
a
it?
bio molecular alterations, which gives him
Yes,
control of his molecules. He could raise his body in size. Uh, he uh, he can elongate his body. So basically, he can grow or shrink in size.
yes.
Uh,
And to get his powers, remember, he was already a mutant, and then he got his philosophy from the nomads that took him in. Then he got his augmentations from the celestial from the celestials, which are the only beings Apocalypse fears.
yes,
He fears the celestials, and other than that, he don't fear nobody.
he beat the crap out of Icarus in the comic
Yes,
in the hand. He didn't even need to use no energy blast. See, y'all gotta understand. He could also scrap
yeah, he
without.
could scroll.
Yeah, without all of that, he could control and regenerate. He could make force fields and put people in energy prisons. This dude comes with a lot of stuff. This might be a while.
Yeah, and
So
see,
one time he absorbed Cyclops' optic blast,
yes,
and Cyclops didn't have his powers for days.
yeah, that happened in the in the comics where they was trying to save, uh, Nate Gray, and Cyclops drained his powers, and they always had that bubble to show him thing. And I remember reading that it said, "Man, if I only had a rock to throw at him." And right before Apocalypse absorbed Nate Gray, Cyclops jumped in, and they both shared the same DNA. So Apocalypse was like, "All right, let's roll." And next thing you know, is he looks like Cyclops, but as tall as Apocalypse, with with the you can see his appendages and everything. And he had, instead of having the two eyes, he had one big red eye. It was nice, man. Apocalypse to me should have had his a better movie than what they did. He should have been
And better
it,
than X-Men '97 to me. I already like how they going with it, but I gotta see it. I'm not going to put the carriage before the horse.
mhm.
Whole time.
I if they if Marvel ever do a ultimate bad guy, because I don't know which way they're gonna go now, because going away from Kane the Conqueror series because of what happened in Jonathan Majors. But if they ever decide to do uh the Apocalypse X-Men thing, because he only messes with the mutants, really. He only messes with the mutants. He don't really care about nobody else. He only messes with the mutants, and I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Apocalypse is my guy.
Yes, sir. This is uh he got telekinesis. Uh he's, he can move objects and things like that. He can lift over 1,000 tons. He's immortal. He's a external. He's basically part of that race. He's
Hmm.
telepathic. He can grant powers. Come on, that's how you know right there. He can grant people.
But he only grants them to mutants. He doesn't grant them
Yeah,
to
yeah,
ordinary people.
yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah, man. And he's actually super smart because he's been around for thousands of years. Yeah, man. I strongly endorse this pick. Because when you have his powers, it comes with a lot of things. Comes with a
Yeah,
lot.
and in the movies they show how Apocalypse got his powers by stealing them. Um, they didn't they didn't do his character. I'm not saying they got to follow it word from word, but it would make it so it would make a lot of sense that he was already powerful. That he didn't need other mutants' powers. He was already powerful, and
Yeah,
that's what made him
they dropped.
immortal.
Yeah, I thought they kind of dropped the ball on that too.
Hmm. Well,
Um, yeah, man. But good pick. She said didn't say Cyclops Scott died. What you mean, Tay?
you talking about when Cyclops sacrificed himself to save Nick Gray. I think somehow, I'm not sure. I think somehow they separated him. I'll have to try to find that issue. Again, I had all these issues and I don't have it all, but I know the flow of the storyline and how to look stuff up. So I'll try to find out if he died or not. It's an easy Google search now. Back in the day, you would have to call the comic book store like, yeah, what issue did so and so die? I'm like, I don't know. Now
Um,
it's a simple Google search.
let let's continue on.
All right.
Definitely a good pick. So we're gonna go back to me, and then after this, we both got one more. Um, Wolverine, Weapon X, Weapon X, y'all. Wolverine, um, he's resistant to psychic attacks. He has his berserker rage, which brings out his animal instinct and increases his strength. He has animanium skeleton from top to bottom, which makes him basically indestructible for the most part. Uh, he could actually manipulate his own memories as a defense mechanism. A lot of people don't know that. He actually has um, great hearing to where he can hear the irregular heartbeats and can tell when a person is lying. Um, he has heightened smell and hearing. Uh, his antimantium makes the force of his blows uh, 1,000 times stronger than if he would have been a regular dude. Um, he has night vision. He can also speak different languages because of how long he's been alive. Wolverine damn near like 200 years old. So he knows German, French, uh, Mongolian. He know a lot of different languages. Um, uh, Regenerative powers. He got that healing factor. He has probably the best healing factor, and this is a power I would love, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or comic. He has night. Did I say he had night vision? He's slow aging. He can communicate with animals, and he has super endurance. So, anything you want to talk about? What I brought up?
Great pick. Um, my favorite issue of Wolverine is Wolverine 100 when he went totally berserk.
Mm.
This is after Tyler, uh, Cable's son, tried to put the adamantium back into him, and Wolverine wasn't having it. And the result of that, he went total beast mode, and he waxed the floor with everybody. You have seen in the past that he would hold back. He should have stopped Sabretooth many times.
Yes, yes.
Many times he should have punched his clock. But he held back, and it's I would want to be Wolverine. I would to have his powers, the healing factor, the claws. After Magneto pulled the metal out, his claws were bone, and which was the following issue. His claws were bone, and it was wow. And then he started to uh, get more and more beast-like because his body would continuously regenerate uh, from the adamantium, and then later, uh, as his healing factor slowed down,
Yeah,
he started to get adamantium poisoning. This is when you get into the Old Man Logan series.
yeah.
It,
Omega Red. All of the superheroes have healing factors, but
mhm.
you gotta understand Wolverine's healing factor is the strongest.
Yeah,
It's different levels.
yeah. I'm
People don't do.
excited.
That's what
I'm
people don't get. Like the only one that's messing with him when it comes to the healing factor, even the Hulk ain't messing with him. It's Deadpool. Deadpool is the only one on par with Wolverine's healing factor. It's not a theory, it's a fact. There's a reason why Wolverine, they bring up his healing factor over everybody else.
But see, Deadpool's healing factor works a little different though. Wolverine's healing factor heals him completely. Deadpool's healing factor just regenerate dead cells. That's why Deadpool is in really a constant state of dying.
That
That's why
that,
he
that
is.
that's not how is that false? My fault, not to cut you off. How
Oh,
is
you
that
fine?
his body didn't regenerate because of his metal? Not saying that he still has the strongest healing factor. That's
Yeah,
not false. He has the strongest healing factor.
yeah.
Look it up. That's not false, bro. Look,
Only reason that doctor put the metal in him was because of his healing factor. He was the only one able to survive the process, and the daughter of that doctor became Lady Deathstrike, and she became Wolverine's sworn enemy because she faults Wolverine for the death of her father, uh, because she just felt like it, I guess. But hiding senses, um, hiding awareness, he can smell you coming, he could smell you going, he could hear you.
who
Yeah,
has a
yeah.
better healing factor to you, Derek?
Who has a better
Wolverine
healing?
or the Hulk? Wolverine or the Hulk? The Hulk can heal good, And they just did that in Immortal Hulk.
Well, I haven't read Immortal Hulk. I'm gonna get on it, but from what I know, Wolverine,
Thank you.
because the Hulk couldn't be Wendigo without Wolverine's help.
Come on, bro.
I remember that issue. That's one of the best issues I've ever read. The Wendigo, an Incredible Hulk, and Wolverine. That's
We,
another bad guy they don't give enough coverage to.
I'm reading comic books from the 40s, bro.
Hmm.
From when my grandma was born. You can't call me no. I know my stuff. I know what I'm talking.
My grandmother used to have me reading.
And I know both sides. That's what the dangerous part of me is about. A lot of y'all is one-sided. So I don't consider a lot of y'all old heads just read Marvel. I don't just read Marvel. I know the DC side and the Marvel side. So we ain't doing that. We
All
not
right,
doing
good night,
that.
Tay.
Unless you can show me that you know both sides,
Hmm.
then I'll consider you, not you, Derek Gaines, but you do. And Mac does too. I gotta give Mac credit too. Stay ready, definitely get his credit too. But unless Red can tell me that he knows both sides in depth, Marvel and DC, then you a rookie. I know you knucklehead, but you a rookie. And I'm gonna say that respectfully. Because I know both sides.
I used to read Teen Titans. I thought they were so cool. I thought Raven was so cool. I never got into reading the Justice League per se, but I used to read Teen Titans all the time because to me, Teen Titans was like DC answer to the X-Men. And I read that. Used to read Green Lantern. Um, I mean, I'm a comic book fan. I'll just be like, I'm not gonna read
Yeah,
DC.
yeah. There's people like that. There's
Yeah,
people. He said,
I,
"Who's the
wa-
strongest mutant?" Then act. It
who's the
depends.
strongest mutant?
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it depends because it was a point where Jean Grey was one of the strongest.
Yeah, she's an alpha level psi. But Um, if you're talking about telekinesis and stuff like that, it's different.
It depends on what we. So what are we talking like? What are we
Well,
talking?
let's just do overall. Let's just do overall. I would have to say Wanda, the Scarlet Witch,
Which I could agree with that. I could
because
agree.
not only did she change everybody, she erased what she did too.
Yeah, and she what did she make the mutant population like die down by like
Yeah,
one of the reasons.
yeah. I think that happened in the House of M
Yeah, House.
story.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I don't. You know what I'm
I
saying?
I, I mean I, I mean I like Quasar, whose name is
You,
also Captain Marvel.
you think Morph is the strongest?
Um, are you talking about more from the TV show or more from the comics?
That's another good question. I don't know what he's based
Because Morph
it
didn't
on.
exist.
So you
I didn't read Morph in the comics until Age of Apocalypse storyline. And I go all the way back to when X-Men fought Hybrid with Rom the Space Knight. I
I
go all the way back to Inferno storyline.
Morph still ain't stronger than Wanda though. I don't see it being. I
Not
kind of
not story in Wanda because remember Wanda has like that black arts thing, and she could read your mind almost.
and
So
she can manipulate like the freaking like alter like freaking reality.
yeah, in the comics, Wanda's powers are called hex powers. and they didn't address the name of her powers when they got into the movies. They just said she was a witch, like she had mutant abilities. But yeah, if you talking overall, you man, as far as mutants, I will have to say Wanda, Magneto, because they could beat you without touching you. Now that's power. In the comics, if somebody could beat you without touching you, that's power. But like Magneto, he didn't have to see you to do it. He can affect the Earth's magnetic spectrum to mess with you, which he did several times.
The reason why I'm gonna say he's not the most powerful Red is because of the fact that even if he can't copy everybody's power, that doesn't give him everybody's invulnerabilities. He could copy powers, but it doesn't give him invulnerability. So,
See that's what it is. That's what I don't understand. When
so
I
you
watched
can't.
X Men '97,
I
when I
disagree.
when I watch, I'm sorry, but when I watch X Men '97, they show Morph not only changing into people but using their powers. Morph didn't do that in the old series or in the AOA storyline. He didn't use their powers. There is a changeling in Marvel Comics that uses powers and able to turn into people, and her name is Copycat. So I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
that's what threw. I mean, it is entertaining. It was great to see all the other characters that making cameo, but you know it was cool. It was cool to see. I'm not gonna lie, it was cool to see the other characters, but in the AOA storyline, Morph did not turn into people and use their powers. I don't
I'm
remember
looking
that.
it up right now. It's like I said. You telling me to read? I'm reading. It ain't even really saying that he can shapeshift. That's all they really saying. Expert on computer engineer, highly trained, uh, effective organizer, good prankster. Uh,
Omega Red says Reed Richards' son, who was Franklin Richards,
yes, yes, yes.
was the strongest character ever.
Okay, but that and let me
Uh,
tell you that I agree with. Not no goddamn more. Don't get on here talking about more. Franklin Richards, yes, I give you that. Now you speaking English. Now you're speaking English. Before you were speaking Turkish with more. Because I'm looking up all his abilities right now before my eyes. And he don't like it says like he can't even copy the powers for that long. And he's still vulnerable. So nah, he ain't to me, you gotta be invulnerable at the same time. But Franklin is I agree with you with Franklin Richards. I agree with I agree with that. I didn't agree with the rest.
yeah,
Um,
Franklin Richards, man, his
it's a real one.
he he's a real one. He um in the um in the onslaught storyline, it all started with him. You
That's a fact.
know, and the onslaught wanted to kidnap him because he can shape reality to his will,
Yes.
and onslaught wanted Nate Gray's power because he was the strongest side besides Xavier, which turned into onslaught. But Franklin Richards storyline, the Heroes Reborn storyline, was pretty good. Because he created a whole nother universe. And when when the Avengers and the Fantastic Four went up against Onslaught and Doctor Doom, they ordered the Onslaught storyline rewrote Marvel itself. Like you can
Yes.
remember before the Onslaught storyline, they had like X-Men 2000, stuff like that, stuff that nobody really read. And then after the Onslaught storyline, they done away with all of that. And the next major storyline they had on the X-Men side was um, the one they just did at X-Men 97, Operation Zero Tolerance. Um,
I don't
but
think
yeah,
I read that one. That one sounds interesting. I'm gonna look that up.
yeah. Oh yeah, that happened right after the Onslaught when Franklin Richards, when they all disappeared and they all thought they were dead. Franklin Richards created a whole nother universe with a whole nother Earth and put them there. And the Celestials were coming
Come
to
on,
to
man.
um the Celestials were coming. He was told that one of your universes gotta go. One one of your universes gotta go. Either the one you at now or the one you left. So they was coming to destroy that whole reality, that whole storyline. And if it wasn't for Doctor Strange appealing to what was it, Affinity, I think he appealed to Affinity, and they was like, "Well, leave us the ball." So he left the ball there, which was, man, yeah, yeah. Franklin Richards, he's a real
Yeah,
Omega level mutant.
yes. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. They wouldn't be allowed to have no kids. I know it sounds messed up. This is why Susan and Reed wouldn't be able, like people like that wouldn't be able to have no kids. Oh, I didn't even really know the full extent of Cable's power. I didn't know that his telepathic powers was on par with his mom's. I
Yeah,
didn't know. I didn't know
without
that.
the techno virus infecting him and he controlling it. Now there were issues where um there was some issues like during the Onslaught series because Onslaught was messing with the psychic stuff in the world. He had a problem controlling the his technovirus, and it started to run out of control. But without that, that was infected in him, either by Sinister or Apocalypse, he will be above Jean Grey.
Mm, mm. Um, shoot, man. Let's get to your next one. Let's get to your
All
next.
right. I think this is my last one.
Yeah, you on the last one. I'm on my last
Let's see. What's my hope for this? It's the Juggernaut.
one. Here we go. Yes, sir. King Marco. King Marco. He said Omega Red is the best villain. No, he ain't. You see, this is the best X-Men villain. I disagree again. This is the best X-Men. You know why? Because he got that the crimson gem, etc. Go ahead, talk to
First
him.
appearance, and by the way, I love this version of Juggernaut. Man, I wish we had the Juggernaut like this back when they first debuted him in a movie. I love this version. He say, "I'm gonna rip you in half now." That was that was classic. I gotta watch that again. Kane Marco. I tried to find a quote for this, but I couldn't find a quote for him to a quote that would fit. Um, I do know that absolute power corrupts absolutely,
Yeah,
and
I think that's perfect. I think
and
that's
he, thank you, brother, and he was power personified. He had strength, superhuman strength, durability, a healing factor that says it was faster than Wolverine's. Stepbrother of Professor X, his first appearance was in 1965. He found the Crimson Gem of Satarak. Satarak was a like a dimensional being or something. They comics. I think it was X-Men storyline. They did all the deities that had their vessels in the world. They all took over their vessels to become to see who would divide up the world. And they Juggernaut didn't want no part of it. He wanted to stop everybody. That's a very interesting storyline. Uh, as you saw in the Endgame, Doctor Strange, when he pulled out that red beam, that was the Crimson. It was called. Oh my goodness, the Crimson Bands of Satarak. He was also tapping into the Satarak's power, but they didn't go into that because in the comics, anytime he did a move, he would say it and then he would do it. So I was wondering why they didn't go into that. But the Juggernaut is one of the main. He's a villain. I'm not gonna. He's a villain in the comics. He hated his stepbrother, and the cartoon he hated his stepbrother. It's funny how they didn't talk about it or allude to it in in the movie. Um, the guy could the guy could lift 100,000 pounds with no problem. His power, if he wanted to, if he loses control, his power allows him to punch holes in different realities, as it was shown in X-Men '88. If he loses control, he is the unstoppable Juggernaut. He has went into other dimensions, and the interdimensional demon called Despair fought him. Despair burned into his bones. It was just his helmet and his bones, and he was still moving. And hold on, let me plug my phone back up. I'm sorry, thought I had it charged. And he's unstoppable. There's nothing that can stop him. There are issues in the comics that he roamed a dead earth because he destroyed everything. He destroyed everything. That was his curse. That is the curse of the Juggernaut. He destroys everything. He was beat by the Hulk before. He was beat by Spider-Man twice, I think. X-Men several times.
yeah. It
His
was
helmet protects him from like psychic powers. Um, he's basically bulletproof. He stands about what 10, 11 feet tall, weighs like 1,000 pounds. The guy is a monster. He's a monster, and maybe in the next X-Men movie he'll be in there. It would be cool to see. But that is really not much to say. It's the Juggernaut. You can't beat the Juggernaut. You can't beat him. You can't. He will give everybody a run for their money. And if he's running full speed, he can't be stopped. The guy is just it's just the guy is the ultimate bad guy as far as power. As far as power, raw, unfiltered power. The Hulk could beat him. The Hulk has beat him, but the Hulk got to be focused to beat him. And the Hulk got so many different psyches going on, and you don't know which Hulk will show up. This guy right here, he got one thing in mind. He's gonna smash. And I like the Juggernaut. I would want his power, his strength, his durability, and you know nothing can stop the Juggernaut. But Spider-Man did twice, and the Hulk did, and X-Men did several
If
times.
somebody can outsmart him, I know.
Hmm.
If it's somebody that, and the Hulk ain't necessarily smarter than him, but maybe he is a little smarter than. Because Juggernaut, he got one thing in mind. I feel like, but he has a offense and a defense. He got super ability. Uh, he got sustainability. He can survive. He don't need no food or water. He don't. He doesn't
Hmm.
need any food or water. He's good. He doesn't even need to breathe. And
The
if you
guy.
read it in one of the old comics, since I'm such a youngster and I don't read comics, there was the issue in 1965 where Spider-Man fought him and tricked him into going into semen. And guess what happened? Once that semen dried up, Spider-Man had to go back to that and try to finish the job. He thought he finished the job, but he ain't finished the job.
Yeah, you right, Omega Red. Gladiator did. Gladiator tossed him like it wasn't nothing. But see,
Oh,
Gladiator's power came from if he
yeah,
came
he an
from his
alien.
mind.
That ain't fair. He an alien.
Yeah, it was during the Phoenix Saga that they did on the original cartoon X-Men show, and
I know what
Gladiator.
you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Gladiator tossed him.
That was good.
But see, I from what I understand, only person he affiliated himself was with Black Tom. I don't know if he was with like a mutant thing, like because he wasn't really a mutant.
Nah, he
He
wasn't.
was
Nah, his
he
powers
wasn't a
was
mutant
magic. His powers was through magic.
through magic. So we already know the Juggernaut would have beat Superman
Ha!
because
With Tay
Superman.
Tay. Tay Tay. Where you at,
Tay Tay
Tay?
went. She went to bed. I saw her. She said, she posted something in the chat saying she was going to bed. That was back when we was talking about Apocalypse,
Okay.
and yeah, he would have beat Superman because his powers are magic. Uh, uh, that's it. I mean, like the guy has the will. He has the strength. He has one of the greatest catchphrases in comics. Nothing can stop the Juggernaut, and it's yeah, yeah. I would want to be the Juggernaut. That makes me think. How did they get him in the cell in the first place?
I gotta agree.
I just thought about that. Now I know they do, like the Florida movie, the Juggernaut was already there. But how did they get him there? Then how did they get him from the cell to the train? If nothing stops the Juggernaut, they had to stop him twice. Just for the movies, just for Deadpool, I could see that
Hmm.
because Deadpool's special. But
Oh,
yeah, I would want to be the Juggernaut.
I mean, see, there's a different version. There's an 8-day Juggernaut. I don't know if you ever read that comic. My brother, I stole that from my brother. I got
No,
the eighth,
I didn't.
yeah, eighth research the eighth day juggernaut. You know, since I don't know comics and stuff, but I know about
Mhm.
eighth day juggernaut is the strongest version of juggernaut.
This one right here, um, I don't know if he's the strongest version of the Juggernaut because he didn't.
That ain't eighth day. That
Well,
ain't
he
eighth.
did fight Colossus. He did fight Colossus.
Yeah, but I still feel like his regular form, he could fight Colossus.
Yeah,
He could fight Colossus. He could fight
yeah, he
Colossus
can.
in his
He
regular
did
form.
fight Colossus.
Day Juggernaut, he might kill Colossus. He might kill Colossus. Peter Rasputin,
Yeah,
he might
yeah.
kill Peter. He might kill Peter, like Wolverine called. PD, fastball special.
The Colossus and Wolverine hook up.
Yeah, that's basically their special move. But again, I don't know comics. And these comics older than me that I'm
I
talking
I don't know much about comics either. I just hear about it. I
about.
just go, oh, okay, yeah. I think I read that issue. Yeah, yeah, I mean it's just the time that I used to collect, and so now I
You know
know
a lot,
there are
bro.
a
Nah,
lot
you
of
lying. You know a lot.
uh,
I
uh
know comics. I don't
well,
know.
the one of the last
I'm,
comics that I
I'm,
brought
I'm
before stuff hit the fan for me back then. One of the last comics I brought was Spawn 100. And
that
so
was
I was reading Spawn, I was reading Marvel, I read a little bit of DC when the story suited me. Um,
I'm gonna tell you right now what DC story you need to go back and read.
mhm.
Brightest Day, Darkest Night. Gotta be one of the best Green Lantern storylines that you will ever read in your life.
Let me ask you a question. Is that the storyline where they had like different color green lantern, different color
Yes,
lanterns? When
yes, yes.
they had like a purple one, a
Like
yellow one, not
it,
a
it,
yellow one.
Sapphire, though.
Yeah, the sapphire one. Yeah, I
Uh,
read that storyline. They had the living planet as a lantern.
yes, yes.
Um, they were fighting. Who were they fighting? They were fighting some strong guy, and I think the white. It wasn't John Stewart as the Green Lantern. It was the guy before him,
Hal Jordan.
and Hal Jordan, and damn, what else was in that
You know, but
series? Because
I don't know comics. I don't know comics.
yeah, I think I read that because it was interesting, but I'll search for it again. I got
Yeah,
different comics.
I gotta cover that on this channel. Read that because I gotta cover that. That was a great
Okay.
story. That was a great story. Um, let me finish up with the Juggernaut. Uh, infinite source of kinetic energy. He gains momentum, stamina, and infinite. And basically, his stamina it has no limit. Uh, impenetrable force field, healing factor. He could change size. He could track, manipulate magic, gain abilities to levitate, absorb any projectile like damage, and throw it back at you. Create and shatter portals through space and time. Damn! Shout out to the damn good pick, but you gotta be moving forward. That's probably the only thing. All right, I'm gonna get into my last one. We've been on for 2 hours and a half. Shout out to my bro Derek Gaines again, and shout out to everybody in the chat. We're gonna end it on this. last character. So for my last character, Derek Games, if you
All
could have
right.
guessed your last $100 who I would have picked, I'm not gonna have you do that. But y'all,
Batman.
I dedicate this pick to Tay Tay and D-Man Jr. They inspired this pick. I love them to death. I know somewhere out there they smiling because they really like Batman too. Uh, so Batman actually does have superpowers, and I know D-Man gonna get mad. Tay Tay gonna get mad. His superpower is actually his ability to think. You know that man got a higher IQ than Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking. There's only one other dude that's smarter than him. He got like a 225. It's a Korean.
Mm. No, I
That
didn't know.
IQ was 192. That's not normal.
But that's how he has a contingency plan for everything.
I try to tell him. I
He
try,
has a contingency
try,
plan for
I try,
everything.
try to tell him that Batman is the GOAT. I tried. I tried. Just like my nana used to say, you gotta learn them up, baby. Gotta learn them up.
See, Batman, to me, Batman is relatable, because he doesn't have superpowers. See, the ones with superpowers like Wonder Woman or Superman, they got to be careful. Man, they don't hurt nobody or break anybody. Batman could bump into you and you'd be like, "Oh, excuse me," like, "Oh, it's Bruce Wayne."
Batman would torture your ass for information.
Yeah, Batman is standing. You bump into Superman, you might go flying.
Like Superman would, but he would torture, break every body for that information. Better believe it. And then go for building like Suge Knight.
Yeah, Batman. Ah, man, you can't say nothing bad about him, man. He had the coolest rides, the coolest planes. He had a plan for everything. I would have. I hate to play chess against somebody like that. You
Yeah,
you
I wouldn't play chess against him.
you can't win. Why do you lost when you sat down?
Yeah, no,
You-
you can't.
It's just plus he got the money. He's I'm not gonna say he's a Tony Stark of DC. I think he's better than Tony Stark
Better than
because he
and
he takes the blows.
he can't build stuff on the level Tony can. But as far as when it comes to like him being smart, I think he's a
Hmm.
little smarter than Tony.
Yeah, I think
I
he
think
has that it factor.
he may be the only one that I believe that's smarter than him in Marvel.
He has that. He just I don't know. I mean, he got more shows than Superman. He got
And
more coverage than Superman.
he is
It's
the
it's
most popular to this day, and probably when you was little. He is still the most popular superhero, second Spider-Man. You know that, right? I'm talking about right now. Batman is the most popular superhero. That's why you always see the video. That's why you always see him have a movie. Batman sells. Superman doesn't. It's okay. People just like Superman because he he he's real fast. He can fly and things like that. But outside of that, what else is interesting?
Now I think Superman looks like the American flag. When I saw Homelander, the first thing I said was That's Superman.
You know what's
That's
funny
Superman.
is I'm actually binge watching that, and I'm actually starting to get really. I'm up to season three, like episode 5 or 6. So I'm actually
Yeah, don't watch that around kids, man.
nah. I would. And you know, I'll keep it real with you. I like Invincible better storyline wise.
Uh-huh.
This is alright. It's something. It gives me something.
It gets I like it. I haven't missed the episode. This you binge watching it, so I'm not gonna ruin it for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, no.
But it's
Let's continue on with
yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
Batman can bench press 1,000 pounds. Uh, uh, he's been training since he was 8 to 14 years old. He can untie knots. Bruce IQ was a 92 and has a knack for multitasking. He's also ambidextrous. Uh, he got super read at super speed. Well, not super speed. He could read really fast. He could lip
Hmm.
read. And yeah, as a ambidextrous expertise in memory, numbers, and learning uh, diagnosis. That's a phenomenon where um, a person can tie all of his basically his knowledge together. I don't know what you have to do to achieve that. A lot of kids that go to Harvard could achieve it. I don't know. They say only those type of kids get that. Um, he graduated at 14. Damn, so he got a year over Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King graduated. Bruce graduated at. That's crazy. That's crazy. This dude, this dude is brilliant. What are y'all classes in Cambridge, Berlin School of Science? He got FBI training. Uh, he went to the Peaks of Mountains, which is in Korea. So if you go to the ones there, they're gonna really teach you martial arts. Bruce knows Tuma meditation. The Tuma meditation, this technique which can limit the amount of oxygen he needs to survive, uh, functions over the mind. Uh, he also can make himself go into conserve energy, and he can also control his body temperature. And I know it's not, oh, all of this is crazy. Do you know that this is actually a training till this day? There's a kid my age that is training out in the snow right now and can control his body temperature. So this ain't nothing that's out of the realm of possibilities to do. You just gotta be locked in. What you gotta say about it?
Batman,
The go.
Batman is a detective.
That too.
I think Ray Shaw Gould, he never calls him Batman. He always calls
Yeah,
him
he always called me
detective.
detective. Yep.
Um, Batman has the respect of his peers and enemies. I think he should have stopped the Joker's clock a long time ago. But Batman doesn't kill. He
We don't
doesn't
kill Clark.
he don't
Where
kill.
Tay Tay
In
at?
the
Where
comics,
Tay
in
Tay?
the
We don't kill Clark.
we don't kill in the in the cartoon, there's an episode where a character called Dead Man, I think that's what he's called. Dead
Oh,
Man.
yeah, yes, yes. He's from Boston. Yep.
Yeah, he took over Batman's body, and he shot somebody, and Batman has been tortured by that slaying of his parents, and it galvanized his psyche. He wanted to be something that's feared,
Yes, sir.
and you cannot be feared if you don't have a contingency plan for everything. Um, like I
It's
said, he
funny
should
that
have
you
stopped
say
Joker's
it's
clock
funny
a
that
long
you
time
say that
ago, but
about the fear. Sorry, not to cut you off,
oh,
brother.
you fine, brother.
Yeah,
What you
I
say?
remember in one comic, Batman: The Long Halloween.
Yes.
Batman he ran down on some thugs in the daytime, and he said to himself, "I could see my appearance doesn't have as much effect in the daytime." So I think him being around at night that plays a big part. It scares.
Hmm.
But go ahead,
I
brother.
think I've seen that
Those
cartoon, The Long Night. They got a new Batman called Death Comes to Gotham, and it's dark. I mean, it's dark.
well,
This very that
watching
the
the Crusaders series with Amazon. So
I've been seeing the promo for the new Superman cartoon, and
not a
I'm
super
not really in. I'm gonna watch it, but it's gonna be like after I watch everything else. Like, oh, what I'm gonna watch? Oh, might as well. And then turn it on and be like, it's not. I'm not really watching it. It's watching me, because most likely I'll lose interest. Because
you,
Henry Cavill is not gonna be Superman anymore, and I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling this. But Batman, the
yeah,
ultimate, the
Prime.
ultimate.
It's coming on, y'all. Amazon Prime, August 2nd, maybe.
Batman is the ultimate. He, he, when he puts on his Batman things, but he's still Batman. Even when he's Bruce Wayne, he's still Batman. Uh, I don't have any bad thing to say about Batman. That's a good choice. I was thinking you might go Ghost Rider on me or something,
Nah,
but
nah.
Batman is a good choice. Um, it's you can't say nothing wrong about Batman. I like the I like the not the who's the guy that played Batman when he fought the Joker. I like that Batman.
Is
The
it's too.
Batman. Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't like
you talking about Christian Bale?
Christian Bale. I like
Bale and Heath
that
Ledger.
Batman. Right. When he fought Keith Ledger as when he played the Joker. But yeah, yeah, Batman. That's why there are more shows about Batman because they know, they know, they know. Every Justice League may not have Superman in it, but it has Batman in it.
Talk to him.
It's
Talk.
it's just it's just it's just the way it is, man. You know, without Batman, there would be no Justice League.
That's true. Because he bought the house. He
Yeah, he
bought
brought them all together.
it. Not only that, he actually bought the Justice Hall.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He
It's
did.
really nothing. And plus, he have the coolest cards. He has the coolest cards. You remember you seeing the '60s Batman TV
I was
show?
just watching it because of y'all when we did the worst comic book movie.
That the car they had in the '60s,
Yeah,
and
I
then the
like
car they
watching
had in
it.
Michael Keaton's Batman.
I didn't
That
like
part
that.
was nice.
I didn't like. I like the 60s.
I
And
didn't like Christian Bale's Batman, Batmobile. I
I
didn't
didn't like
like that.
I didn't like that either.
That looked
I
like it was a tank.
I
That's
like the
what it
one in
was.
the last one better than that
hmm
because they
I
tried.
hated
They
I
tried.
hated George Clooney's Batman, Batmobile. That oh man, everything was wrong with that movie. We already covered that.
Oh my god,
But
that
yeah,
was
this Batman, the character, I would want to be him. People know who I am. In the day, I'm Bruce Wayne, billionaire, ultra billionaire. At night, I'm Batman. I would love it. I would love it. This fly is getting on my nerves.
yes, sir. Um, bro, you got anything else? Before we close it up.
No, man. Again, man, I appreciate everybody who came through. Omega Red, Tay Tay, Eric Jordan, Amanaz was here. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on and always coming up with the topics. I always try to be ready. Um, I look forward to it, and I appreciate you and thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem. I appreciate you more because you know what I mean. You've been co-hosting this thing with me since I got you on, and yeah, we've been rocking out, man.
I sent the link to Drew through email, um,
Oh
and I
yeah,
know
yeah,
he.
he came through. He came.
Oh, he
He came
came through.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
maybe
yeah. Yeah, I shouted him out, but I was
maybe
already
next time.
yeah.
Maybe next time we could have Drew and Tay Tay on. I wouldn't know who's Drew's character is, but
Drew was kind of like an overall. Drew's
oh, we
a
got shout out to
yeah.
Queen 71. I appreciate you too. Thank you for being here. And anybody else I forgot, I appreciate y'all. Thank
I love
you for coming to
him.
support my brother. He's building his channel. Share the content. Tell people about it. Come through and get your nerd on. You know, because we all, when we were kids, wanted to be superheroes or the bad guy, one way or another. And we, just come in, get your nerd on. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, man. Appreciate everybody that came through in the chat. You know what I mean? You know, when I'm arguing nerd stuff, I don't want nobody to take offense. You know what I mean? They try to get at me because, you know, I was born past a certain time and they don't think I was knowing and I didn't read the
Mhm.
script. But I read the script, so I know my stuff. I know both sides. I'm well versed on Marvel and DC. And I can even go to Image Comics. If you would play that, I could go to Dark Horse Comics.
Mhm.
Play that game. Spawned in the Mask. We could play that
I
game. We could
I
play
read
that. Drew knows. They don't know. Drew knows. And Stay Ready knows about my heritage. But other people may.
I don't know about Dark Force comics.
Dark Horse.
I do know about the Spawn people, McFarlane. I
Yeah.
know about, of
And
course, DC and Marvel. I know about the Amalgamation comics. That's when they had the Marvel and DC crossover. And then they had characters in that comic series that was like a combination of, let's say, Batman and Wolverine. And then they had like Superwoman had the Wonder Woman had Thor's powers and so forth. It was um it was very interesting, but I stopped reading it after the four limited issues. They had Superman versus the Hulk. They had Doctor Strange versus Doctor Fate. They had Wonder Boy. Was it Wonder Boy? No, it was Spider Boy. No, Wonder Boy fighting Jubilee. So they had Darkseid versus Thanos, and it was pretty interesting. But it was only 4 issues, and I think they did issues after that. But after the limited series, I just stopped reading it. But again, brother, I thank you, man. And
Yeah, no,
whatever you wanna do next week, that's fine with me, man.
I'm a post tomorrow some suggestions of what we
Mhm.
do next week, and yeah, hopefully it'll spark an idea. I can tell you in a minute
Okay.
doing. I hit you up. Like I said, yo, appreciate everybody. We're gonna wrap this and body, man.
Thank you, brother.